Welcome to the Recruitment Business Accelerator podcast. Creating a successful recruitment business is not about you being the best hands-on biller or driving most of the activity for your team. It's about you becoming the best strategist, marketer, and leader so that you can create a powerful business that grows quickly and does not depend on you. For the last 10 years, Nicky Coffin and Katy Green have been advising recruitment business owners just like you to do exactly that. If you want to grow your business by 20% to 250% in 6 months or less, half your hours, and build a powerful recruitment business that doesn't depend on you, keep listening. If you want it faster, visit centeredexcellence.co.uk/apply. Here's Nicky and Katy.
Good evening, everybody, or good afternoon, good morning. There are people from all over the world, and welcome. So it's Nicky and Katy here, and we are delighted to be sharing with you this training session, the game plan to thrive in this market. Now, what we're going to cover with you over the next 60 minutes is some really, really useful stuff that you can implement straight away within your business. And specifically, it's what our clients are doing right now to make sure that their businesses are not only surviving, but they're winning new business, they're thriving, they're pulling in jobs, they are making placements, and how they're doing that specifically. We're also going to show you how to turn adversity into profit, and the biggest mistakes that recruitment business owners making right now that is really damaging not only their business and their cash flow, but it's really damaging their reputation and their brand. And then sort of how to wrap all of this up together into the fastest way to make revenue, a really clear game plan of what to do in the next 30 to 90 days. And on top of that, how to organically grow new customers without having to spend a penny on advertising. So welcome to everybody who's here. It'd be great. You'll see on the right-hand side of your screen is a chat box. If you've got any questions or you want to flag up, tell us where you are, where you're based, say hi, please type that in the chat box. And I just want to say, congratulations on being here, because there's so many other things that you could be doing with your time at the moment. You could be, watching Netflix, you could be with the kids. And I just want to say the decision that you've made today to be here to actually shift things within your business, you will have people who are your clients who in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months time will be thanking you for making this decision to be here at this time, because you're a catalyst to some significant change. And it's almost like Katy and I are here to help you kickstart your business. I was going to say kick you into momentum, but it's also you will then start kicking your clients into momentum, which will then in turn force them to start kicking their clients into momentum. And it really causes a lovely ripple effect of getting everybody moving forward in a really positive way. So I really want to congratulate you for being here now, because it will really make a difference way beyond just yourselves and your family. So congratulations. So now, quite a few of you will have been following Katy and myself for some time. There are a lot of people on this call who this is your first interaction. So let me just take 2 seconds out to introduce myself. Katy will do the same with herself. So for the last 21 years, I have been working in the world of recruitment. For the past 12 years, we've been working with recruitment business owners, showing them how to scale their businesses. And I can say hand on heart that we are experts at helping people really get themselves out of either a sticky situation where they have nothing, where they're about to lose everything, into a really thriving and buoyant business that really flows for them. But more importantly, it's about how you create that and you get your team doing that. And so you're setting up then systems and processes in place so that then continues. So we are experts at that, but we are also experts in the mindset stuff. And mainly because both of us have not only walked the talk, we've trotted the snot. We've been there and done it. Both of us have built multi-million-pound recruitment businesses from scratch, and we know exactly how hard it is. And Katy Has built a much larger business than the recruitment business I had, and also had some significant experiences of really absolutely thriving in recessions. So we're saying this not to boast, but actually so that you know that you're in good hands. So over to my fantastic business partner, Katy.
Hey, thank you very much. What an intro. Yeah, great to be here on this training with you guys. And as Nicky said, well done. Salute you for putting yourselves out there and to investing the time in yourself to get some answers to some of those questions that are probably going around in your mind right now. So my background is I ran a recruitment business for a number of years. That business was a 10 million turnover, 65 fee earners across multiple disciplines. So I have experience in contract, temporary, permanent, outsourced functions, pretty much you name it. I've had the opportunity to gather those skills and that expertise. So I'm very lucky to have quite a colourful background. What's really important to you is that I have lived and survived and actually thrived through both recessions back in 2001. I know many of you probably were in that in recruitment at the same time as me then, and then back in 2008. And I share this with a number of our clients because for me, 2008 was a really interesting recession. Off the back of that recession was actually my best year. It was my highest profit level coming out of that recession. And a lot of what Nicky and I will be talking to you about in this training and we teach our clients is actually what came off the back of that. How did I pivot and adapt? And actually, what do you need to do in the current climate right now to come out of this? Not just thriving, but actually to build yourselves a strong business for the future, because I think we'll all agree that the world of recruitment is going to be changing over the future. So it's about making sure that you're fully equipped for that and you're emerging into the business that you want to be and the business leader that you want to be. So yeah, a bit of background on me, but there we are. Great to be here with you.
Yeah. So Katy, not just a 10 million turnover, 10 million GP turnover business. And I think your net profit was in the millions off the back of the last recession. So we're saying this because what we're seeing at the moment is people are sort of falling into two camps. Those are hiding, retreating, and just, you know, reflecting and working out what their moves are. There are other people who are absolutely taken some really good action and are starting to see, you know, the shoots growing significantly in their business. And I spoke to Katy about how she did this in 2008, and I can tell you the way that she reacted to the recession was significantly different. Now we had a lot of clients in the recruitment space back in that time, and I can tell you the way that Katy reacted is significantly different to the majority. Like the vast majority, I'd say 98% of recruitment business owners, and that's the reason why they had such a massive year. So there is a huge opportunity if people approach this situation in a different way, and yeah, and that's what we're excited about, and that's what we've been testing with our clients in the last 2 weeks, and they're starting to see some cool results. But we want to share that with you. So just want you to know that if you're here in this training and you're a recruitment business owner who's got an existing business where most of your jobs got turned off or frozen, and you can't see where the next placement's coming from, you're in the right place. Also, if you are a recruitment business owner and director and you've spoken to all of your clients and connected with them and not got any further from that and not unearthed any opportunities, then know that we're here to help you with that today too. Maybe you've also had to furlough a load of your staff. You're the main person in the office and you've had to get back on the tools. And we've got some of our clients who haven't been back on the tools for sort of 10 plus years and are going through a bit of a confidence crisis. Not quite sure what they should be doing and how they should be doing it, thinking the market's moved on and maybe they haven't, which is, by the way, not true. But, you know, if that is you, you're in the right place. And you might also, you know, be saying, I can see this as an opportunity to get rid of those crappy clients or low profit revenue streams, to get rid of those and to actually, you know, upgrade ourselves. But you don't maybe know how to do that. You maybe don't know how to open up conversations with the right type of target clients. So if that is you, then you're in the right place. And hopefully a lot of you will have realized that the companies that are doing really well in this space are probably offering something slightly different than just recruitment. And, you know, it still includes recruitment, but it's something that's stickier than just that. So if you're not quite sure on what to be offering your clients that's other than just recruitment, then you're in the right place as well. So just wanted to let you know that. So the formula to thrive in any market, and here's the thing, most people think it changes when we go into like a crisis or recession. It doesn't. It's absolutely identical in terms of the formula. And it is very simply this. It's to get the right offer, have the right conversations with the right people at the right time in the right way. And if you focus on this formula, you will succeed. But the problem that we're finding, and certainly Katy, you know, you'll be seeing this from everyone you're speaking to at the moment, is most recruitment business owners don't have their new business machine, their lead generation machine set up so it works like clockwork. So a situation where all of your existing clients suddenly freeze, you've not got a process or a system in place to continue generating these new opportunities. And that's why so many people are totally screwed at the moment, because business is absolutely being done. And, you know, you just need to get really clear on where your attention is. Are you focusing on the doom and gloom and how, you know, the economy is going down the pan and, you know, that people are being made redundant left, right and centre? Or are you getting really focused on controlling your mind and your thoughts and placing your attention on where the next best step is for you? So the first thing I would love you to type into the chat box is, you know, what is stopping you at the moment from currently winning business, finding placements, getting placements in? And, you know, if you haven't mastered this new business machine, or, you know, having conversations, the right type of conversations with clients now, like, it is a really great opportunity to nail this once and for all, because whether you're in a buoyant market or a crappy market, this is probably the most important business skill that you need to have, because otherwise you don't have a business. You have to have this. So also, just to let you know, if you do want our help mastering this formula and applying it in your own business over the month of May, there is an opportunity to do that, and we'll just let you know how, and we'll be telling you about how you can do that later on in the call. So there is a formula behind it, I think, is the key thing. So Katy, are you, from your perspective, I mean, this is certainly what I'm finding from speaking to clients, you know, they haven't got a process in place.
No, and part of this is because, let's be honest, you know, if you like, we had a product, we had a service offering, so we had the right people, we had the right offer, we had the right way of doing it, but that's just been turned on its head, and all of a sudden that's been switched off. And so we're in this land of, right, what do we do now? You know, where do we go with it? Because that product isn't there, that person isn't there. Well, they are there, but they don't want the product. So, and they don't want the way that it's being positioned. So this is a big problem for recruitment businesses right now. And these are the conversations I'm having multiple times, 5 or 6 calls that I had today with people on exactly these issues. And the thing for people is, and I think what's perhaps in a slight way to a disadvantage to us, is because there are recruitment businesses out there that are brilliant at what they do. There's recruitment business owners that are brilliant at what they do. The problem is the tap's been turned off. So it's like, you've got the skill, you've got this expertise, but all of a sudden there's no need for it. And then it's, I don't know how, no one's taught me, let's be honest, we've got very good at doing what we're doing. No one's taught me actually, how do I offer something else? You know, where do I go? Who do I offer it to? And how do I actually do that, if that is the case? So we're in a whole new landscape. It's like we've been picked up and put on a different planet, and now we don't know, you know, quite how to operate in the current marketplace.
Yeah, and it's interesting just looking at some of the chat, Katy. So, you know, like because decision makers are being furloughed, and you now maybe aren't able to get to them on their landlines. It's like, how can you then connect with them if you don't have their mobile numbers? So the whole landscape has changed, you know, in some businesses, like their entire landscape's changed like overnight. And I think that's one of the things that people have struggled with. It happens so quickly. And
I'm just looking at them. Sorry, yeah, I've only just seen some of the comments. Yeah, I can see that.
So we'll come back to these. So I'm going to talk through the mistakes that we're seeing at the minute, but then more specifically how you can overcome these. So the biggest mistake we're seeing at the moment is people saying it's unethical to be selling at this time. We shouldn't be contacting clients, or we can't get hold of them, or actually, you know what, we're going to just, hold back and wait until this moment passes. What I would be saying to you is, you are missing out on a significant opportunity to leverage the current situation really, really ethically and make a huge difference. But what happens if this doesn't pass in 2 or 3 weeks? Technically, it might sort of open back up again, but it might then close down again. I mean, the whole way of doing business, we have no idea what's going to happen. So by sort of retreating and hiding is not going to serve you. It would just mean that eventually your business is no longer there, because you're at the mercy of something external to you. So our clients are using this current challenge to leverage it as an opportunity, but in a totally different way. So they're asking questions like, how can I serve you? What can I give you that actually will add real value to at the moment? What are the skills that I have that can actually make a difference to your situation? They might not just be recruitment skills. And they're really getting underneath the skin of their clients to unearth, like, what are the other options I could be offering and potentially monetize that are over and beyond recruitment. But the main thing is they are absolutely getting out there and they are having those conversations. Now, the second mistake that comes off the back of this is that, so the formula is the right offer to the right person at the right time in the right way. The second thing is that people are selling at the moment to the wrong people, and mainly because they're panicking and thinking, all of my existing clients are now not recruiting, so I need to win new business. So they're reaching out to whoever they can get hold of. And I'm just going to say here, this is not a time to be selling to strangers. In any economy, it's not a great first option to take, because even in a good economy, cold calling, it's expensive, it's a numbers game, and it's not guaranteed to get results. But certainly in an economy with lots of uncertainty, it makes much more sense to focus on people that know, like, and trust you. So this is clients that you've made placements with. It could be clients you've almost made placements with. It can also be clients who can refer and recommend you in. But it can also be clients that are hanging out in certain places that you can be starting to become visual and create and start nurturing these relationships so that you do become someone that they know, like, and trust. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how the people in our program are actually doing this, and they're able to build audiences really quickly and then create connections and then create value with those connections. And the thing about it is, it doesn't need to be a massive audience like 20,000. You can have an audience of 10 or 20 people that can still lead to one buying client. That could be, a placement value of, I don't know, 5, 20, 30,000 pounds, whatever your average fee is. So you don't need to have a massive audience, but you do need to be speaking to the right people. So, and the other thing to remember on this is that there's 4 potential options you can do at the moment. You can take your existing service, recruitment, and sell that to existing clients. But as you'll see, most of your clients have turned that tap off, so that's not an option. You could be taking your existing service and developing it to a new client base, which is definitely an option for you at the moment. You could be creating a new offer and taking that to an existing client, or you could be taking a new offer and taking it to a new client. But so you've got 4 potential areas that you could be focusing on. And we are saying the first 3 of those, so existing service to existing client, yes. Existing service to new client, yes. New offer to existing client, yes. But new offer to new client, absolutely no. It's not a good use of your time. Your safe territories are always, to start off with the same offer to your same clients. But at the moment, we know that's different. So we're having to adapt and pivot what we're doing. And, to give you an example of this, And we've got one of our clients, Deborah. She places FDs into a market, and she was having one of our sort of digging for gold conversations where you really uncover, using a very set questions, what the needs of our clients are right now. And she uncovered with one of her key clients that they are actually doing looking for mergers and acquisitions, and they just lost a massive merger because of the crisis. They have money. They've got money to spend, and then she's got 3 of her other clients who are really struggling, who are probably going to go bust. And so she uncovered an opportunity and was able to pivot and introduce those guys into her big buying client. So she's created a mergers and acquisitions opportunity, and she's now crafting that actually into a real offer that she's then going to be taking to market. Now, she only did that because she uncovered that because she had an open mind. She didn't go in with just one thing, which was recruitment. She went in with finding out, right, thinking about how am I going to find out what the opportunities are. So you want to be making sure you're talking to the right people. So people that you're connected with, other people who are in groups and communities, maybe LinkedIn groups, LinkedIn connections, because even within your target clients, it's almost like 6 degrees of separation. There'll be somebody that you know who will be able to introduce you in, and that's the first place you need to start. So the third problem is not knowing what the right offer is. And I'm going to pass this one over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so let's talk about this. So what do I mean, or what do we mean by this? What's the right offer? Well, if you think about it, our offer has been traditionally recruitment. So it's been fairly straightforward. Your client has a need, they have a role within their business, and you're the recruitment expert. And in a sense, whether we want to necessarily use this language or not, we have a product, and that product is people, and we are putting those two together. So that has been our offering to date. Now, the challenge is, as we've already talked about, is we've sold this product for years, and we're really good at selling that product. But all of a sudden, the need for that product has disappeared, or certainly it has got, it's minimized. So our clients aren't actually looking for that service from us. Or if they are, they're not even quite aware of what or where they need those roles. And actually, that's going to take for us to really support them to dig underneath of that. So if you like, the need or the problem for that client has shifted. Now, when we think about recruitment's actually quite a transactional sell, because the need's always there. And so whilst we're selling a service, it is fairly straightforward in terms of how we do that. Now we have a position where that offer is no longer of interest to our clients, or right now they don't need it. So we've got to take our clients to a different place to actually uncover what is the new need, if you like, because without a need, you cannot then match that back with a service offering or a product. So we need to understand what it is that client wants. Now, here comes the tricky part, because the clients right now don't actually know what it is they need. So this is where we have to act as a consultant, a business consultant, rather than a recruitment agent or recruitment consultant, to help them to really uncover, to pick, I call it teasing out. We've got to help them to understand what their new problem is. Because at the moment, they're probably blind to that problem. They're probably not even aware of what it is. But if we support them to understanding what that problem is, and we get very clear on what that new pain point is, and then we get clear on what it is that needs to happen for them to solve that problem, that's where we can then start crafting the right offer that is going to deliver what they need for their current business situation right now. Now, the reason that this is challenging for people is because we've been taught to be good recruiters. We haven't been taught how to do a high-level business consultancy sell, if you like, or it's not even that. Let's call it the word serve, because that's really what we're doing. But we haven't been taught how to walk our clients through this process to help them uncover that. So this is a whole new skill set for us that we need to start tooling ourselves up on, because it's if you like, a new ground for recruitment businesses. So now the good news is, by the way, that nearly everyone I imagine on this call has those skills, but it's about how do you apply them in the new world? How do I pick up what I know, and how do I start to ask these questions and delve to these situations and actually pull that pain point out? And the reason that I say this is a challenge for people is because, as Nicky mentioned, we already have a clients that we are working with right now actively, and this is where we've been supporting them over the last 4 weeks. And when we started this process with them, a lot of the guys in the first instance were like, wow, this is way out of my comfort zone, because you're now teaching me. I'm now learning something that I've never done before. And actually, I know how to sell recruitment, but I don't know how to sell this much bigger picture, high level approach to doing business. And for a lot of them, they felt out of their comfort zone. Now, the good news is, it's like anything that you need to master. It can take 10,000 hours to master something, but anything that you do, the first time you do it, you're probably going to feel pretty uncomfortable. The second time, probably a bit uncomfortable. But the good news is, as you gain momentum and the more that you take action on something, you will start to master that skill, and you will start to get better and better at it. So it's actually about, right, how do I upskill myself right now to get really good at finding out what the new problem is that my client has. And then from that problem and pain point, you will be able to establish, or at least, there is a way to establish what a new offer needs to be for that client for that new landscape. And Nicky's touched on the fact that, it's, if you like, the landscape is new now. I believe that the world of recruitment is going to change. I believe that we're not ever going to go back to what people call the norm. This is going to be different, because what people are going to have to do is evolve their business, evolve the way they deliver their service offering, evolve the way they package that offering, evolve the way they position that offering. And all of these things are going to change. We are actually going to be moving into a different landscape. And that's because social distancing is going to stay. Working from home is going to stay for a lot of businesses. People are going to have to change the way they do business. So now more than ever, a recruitment business is actually in a brilliant position to start looking at how they're going to evolve that offering and how they are going to position themselves to offer something that is going to give their clients way more than that transactional recruitment service that perhaps we've been, very good at and have earned a good living off in the past. Moving forward, you're going to have to be better than that, because the difference between in-house recruiters and recruiters, that gap is narrowing, right? That is narrowing now, because things are creating more of a situation where they're getting more and more similar to what we do. So we've got to really differentiate ourselves. We've got to really go out there and offer something that's different for your clients, and something that is going to give your clients more. And I believe that can be done. I totally believe every recruitment business, forward-thinking recruitment business, can do that. So so we need to learn how to uncover those pain points. So this is about, like Nicky said, it's about making sure that you're selling or you're offering the right offer to the right person in the right way. And that's exactly what needs to happen here.
What was really interesting, when I sort of modelled Katy from the 2008 recession, they uncovered an opportunity with one of their clients, which was an RPO opportunity. Katy, would you just be able to explain?
Yeah, so definitely. So off the back of the last recession, and what we were doing then, the conversations that I was, if you like, I was having with clients, was not a classic recruitment type conversation. This was about actually understanding how that business operated and what were the cogs that built up the way that system operated, and then what were the pinch points within that. And when I got under the skin of what those pinch points were, what actually was uncovered was, for this particular business, it was something that was happening from a head office perspective in the US that was actually affecting what they were doing here in the UK. And when we started to uncover that and what those problems were, and actually then really, if you like, teasing out those pain points and saying, right, well, what is needed for this client to enable them to be able to do business? Actually, that's where the offering then evolved from. And this was something that traditionally we were a contingent recruitment. We did a bit of retain, but we were mostly contingent at that point and never had an offering like this. So this enabled us to actually say, right, what's your pain point, Mr. Client? What are the pinches within your business that are stopping you from operating at an effective level? How does talent, HR, how do certain things play a part in that? And then how can we support you to do that? And what came out the back of that was that we were able to offer that client, there's three elements to what we offered them. One was part of an HR function, one was part of a recruitment function, and the other was actually part of a performance management function. And all of those things then came into one overall overriding, if you like, sort of, let's call it an outsourced product or offering. But that gave us different revenue streams, 3 different revenue streams from that client in different ways. So, you know, I totally think that this is happening even more now. And I think that recruitment consultancies and recruitment businesses have so many skills within their expertise that they're not aware of, or you are giving away for free, that actually in-house teams won't have. And even, you know, potentially some coaches and trainers in your industry won't have. So I think there are so many offers that could be packaged and put together that would work for your clients. But, you know, the key thing here is about understanding what those are. You've really got to understand the business first to be able to match that back. But I do think there are skills that we are not utilizing, and we're not packaging in a way whereby we can either get that connection with the client to lock us in, or we're not monetizing.
Yeah, and this is another mistake we're seeing, is people are putting together like free, you know, CV like services, or, you know, let's do free reference checking, and they're guessing what the clients need. They're not really actually uncovering what does this bespoke, you know, what's the bespoke issue within this client. Now, Katy, there's so Becky Postlethwaite saying, what if the solution isn't a people product? Well,
yeah, but it could be.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, totally, Becky. It absolutely could be. It doesn't have to be a people product. This is the other thing. And, you know, Nikki's example there of Deborah is a great one. Plus, we had another client just last week start, to generate an outsourced function. So off the back of the calls that we've been getting our clients to make, he was actually propositioned by his client to say, you know, I love you. I love the way you work. I'd love you to project manage my recruitment for me, and as an outsourced function, even though it's not the recruitment that I would normally come and give to you. Would that be something that you would do on a retained basis? So totally, I'm with you, Becky. I don't think that it necessarily has to be a people product, but I think what I would be saying to you is that when we, like, if you like, take our recruiter's hat off and we start to think as a big business consultant, and you're a business leader to another business leader, and say, right, what are your problems? What are the things that we can support you with? In the main, most of the issues around most businesses will come down to, in some way, shape or form, the people or the talent that they have working for them, or the types of roles that they have working for them. And so there is an element that will come out of that. I still think people will be offering recruitment, but I think there are other, if you like, inroads into it, or other solutions that could come off the back of that, or things that you could package within your service offering that just gives your client way more from you than being that transactional recruitment provider.
Yeah. And this links into so Rebecca Wells has said, do you think certain clients will still have internal recruitment teams on the other side because they furloughed most of them? And some, I mean, they might not, they might get rid of all of them. But what we're saying is you've got an opportunity to be doing recruitment and something else. And yeah, it definitely is an opportunity for recruiters. Yeah. There's not an internal recruitment team there at the moment. 100%.
Definitely, Bex. Definitely, I would agree, Bex. It's a good question, because and they are furloughing. So here's the other thing is, and this is something that we're teaching our clients, and we're getting them to think about, which is, this is why I keep saying what's going to happen in the next, what's the landscape in the next 18 months, because you will also have scenarios where your clients have never had this situation where they've furloughed their team and then they've got to bring them back into the business and they don't even know how to bring them back in. So it's like, well, how does that work then? How do we, and if we're going to have more remote workers and we're going to have our if you like, our operational team is going to look different, how do we actually start managing them in the future? What does that look like? And how does that work? And what does performance management look like? And who are we as the leaders to be bringing them, managing them, and how will that work? There's so many things, so many things that we could be thinking about, and ways in which we could be supporting clients to get some of those answers. I'm not saying you should be providing them all, but what I'm saying is these are the sorts of conversations that we need to be having with clients to really be supporting them and serving them at a higher level.
Yeah. And Dean's just written, always try to offer fresh consultancy and bespoke products to clients. We've operated in a heavily regulated industry that often leads to organisations being guarded. And,
right.
And this comes down, I think, also to the level of conversation, the level of the conversation you're having. And I mean, this is the other thing which has pushed our clients significantly outside their comfort zone, is we are getting them to speak to the highest level that they possibly can, to have these conversations. Because if you're having this strategic conversation with a middle manager who's not a decision maker or below, it's a total waste of your time. And a lot coming along with that is the, oh my goodness, I'm not good enough to speak to CEOs, CEO, of a massive business. How do I do that? And so obviously we're coaching them through how they do that. But like, if you're hitting that block, there will be some issue around you're probably not speaking to the right level of person with the right solution. And it's like, and there will be, again, there's a process of how you can then, do that and how you can have those conversations.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that sort of came out at the beginning of some of the training that we did with our guys, which was that actually some of their, if you like, the level of relationships they have in their existing clients is at risk, it is exposed, because they don't have all the relationships at all the level. And I think some of this has come from the fact that, and please, again, tap in the chat box if this is true for you, is that recruitment business owners have in some scenarios been off the tools. So their teams have owned the relationships with their existing clients. And what that means is that all of a sudden your team are furloughed, you're back on the tools, you're talking to the clients, but actually your clients know your team. They don't have a relationship with you. And also because your team are going in at a kind of comfort zone level of where they're having that contact with some of the line managers, and you haven't got established relationships at the top of the tree, again, you're very exposed as we come out of this, which is, what's actually going to happen. Because if those business owners start to reduce their team or let people go, and those key points of contact that you had are no longer in that business, what's happening to your future business? So now more than ever is that time for you to be establishing those relationships with those people and making sure that you're really building those relationships. And by having those one-on-one consultative approaches and the right type of conversation, that would totally position you in the right place and can win you a number of key clients in a much bigger way.
Yeah, and so, I mean, Dean, you've put another really valid comment. It's a lot of the time it's getting the right level of person to give you the time. And like, that's why we're saying that now is the time to be having those conversations, because
they're available.
Oh my God, they're so available. And
just to add to that, Dean, one of the things that's come out of the work we've done with our clients is that they said that, which was, I don't think, Katy, I could get that person on the phone. And then I've said, okay, so why don't we try that? Let's give that a go. And then they come back saying, oh my God, everyone's so happy to talk to me. And because of the way they're going and approaching the call, they're saying, wow, this is amazing. People are actually thanking me for my time. And somebody one of our guys said to me just the other day, messaged me, Katie, you know, with the approach I did, they've actually come back to me and said, I've never had that level of conversation with a recruitment business before. Thank you so much, because I got so much insight on my own business off the back of that call I had with you. So, you know, now is the time, totally.
Yeah, and Alex has put, you know, I've got a young team who might find it difficult to adapt to business consultant. And yeah, I mean, this could totally be the case. If you've got a brand new recruiter, even someone who hasn't really cut their teeth in the business, getting them to have these top level strategic conversations would not be something we'd be recommending. Would be for your for senior people within your business, and certainly for yourself. And it's like, imagine, we call this that's slipstreaming. That's it. So imagine you're sort of the goose that's the leader going out, you know, leading the way, as you know, when geese migrate. You would basically open doors, and then as those opportunities come in, you're then passing those opportunities back to your team. So you're enabling them to cut their teeth. And I mean, this is something that we've taught for years. You know, like the 360 role is totally dead. It's totally not fit for purpose. So you need to have your team set up so you've got this business development lead generation machine, and then you've got another machine or a team that then delivers the service, and then you've got another machine and team who actually then resource the candidates and make sure that the candidates are nurtured and touched. So you've got these three different machines working together, and then there's a fourth machine called the economic machine, which is making sure you get paid. These four machines link beautifully together. And so if you've got a business that's working 360, or you know, like what we're seeing at the moment is most recruitment businesses haven't got their BD machine sorted. So when the leads get switched off, they're in a sticky place. That's what's causing then the issues. Whereas if you had your BD machine sorted, and then your account management service delivery machine rocking and rolling, and your resource machine rocking and rolling, this is where things flow really nicely. So and yeah, so like now, honestly, we've got some of our businesses who are bigger businesses, so sort of 20 to 50 consultants, but they furloughed the majority and just kept their managers in place, and they are reconnecting with their clients at top strategic level to basically cover opportunities, that like the most amazing opportunities that either their consultants weren't able to because they weren't talking to the right people, or they just weren't skilled enough to.
Or skilled to. You know, this is the other thing. It's I think again, this is the opportunity for you to upskill ourselves, because we always want to upskill, but also upskill our teams, because you know, you're right, we've been having those transactional conversations at a comfortable level, because that's where everyone goes, isn't it, to that kind of level of comfort. And actually what we're saying, no, you've got to take a step beyond that, and actually have conversations at a much higher level that's going to open you up into new territories and new relationships that will be, you know, there for you to carve out for that future. Yeah.
It's really interesting. So much of this is about mindset. You know, if you get stuck in this, you know, you watch the news, you read the newspapers, you spend your time watching stuff on the internet, which is not useful stuff to be feeding your mind. You get sucked into this reality that, you know, the earth is about to, you know, to combust, you know, the sky is falling in, and it's not true. Business is being done, money is switching hands, but you know, so you need to take the bucket that you were catching your sales with, which has been turned off, this fountain, and move it to other places where the fountain is still running. And you know, there are some businesses and markets that are doing exceptionally well. It's really interesting, Kate. I was looking at the stock market, which did that massive nosedive 3 weeks ago. It's kicked back almost the same level that it was, you know, just 4 weeks ago, but people react and they panic. And it's, if you look at it, it's just such a finite amount of time when they panic. And what we're saying now is like, this is the time to really embrace the opportunity when when others aren't. And so this leads me sort of like the fourth mistake that we're seeing. So the formula is, again, just to recap: right offer to the right person at the right time in the right way. Now, the fourth mistake is the way people are going about trying to generate new business. So we're seeing people who are, you know, offering freebies, but there's no real strategy behind it, like, you know, reference checking. People are blogging, you know, they're commenting on posts, but they're not then able to take that information and bring that into the most important thing, which is a one-to-one conversation. And so the most important, you know, the right way to be doing it, and we call this phone first, is to be having conversations and generating, and so you'll be using social media. Absolutely. I mean, there's ways, multiple ways that we will teach. We teach our clients to build up these audiences, and, you know, social media is absolutely one of them. But it's what you put into your Facebook posts, what you talk about in your Facebook lives, how you craft your emails that you're sending out to your database, so that it's really sort of firing up the need for them to speak to you. So, you know, I think, Marco, you put, you know, what's the right way to connect your people on LinkedIn? There is a set process to do that, but what we teach our guys is how you do that ethically, how you add value, but then how you move that conversation from a place where you're establishing what their pain is, but also what their goals are, into then a one-to-one conversation. And then it's during that one-to-one conversation, that consultative conversation, where you're able to uncover what their needs are and then what potentially you can offer them. So yeah, you want to be having one-to-one conversations with them, and, you know, and reaching out as soon as you can. It's interesting because we've got a very rock solid process that we get people to follow. But even so, one of our ladies, Katy, who works in the HR space, she's been reaching out on LinkedIn and adding some value, but not a huge amount, and then requesting a phone call, and off the back of that, she's having the most amazing conversation. So, you know, it can be really, really simple. So, Katy, can I just check? Can you hear the kids?
A little bit, yeah. Well, everyone's probably got the same thing. You know, where are the kids? On PlayStation, or, you know, having fun.
My 2-year-old I can hear outside. Okay. So, so also in terms of having the conversation in the right way, we have touched on this quite significantly about, you know, how you do that ethically. Katy, is there anything else you want to add with the right way to have the conversations? Bear with me.
Yeah, just I think just to share, because this may resonate with some of you, which is that, you know, when I was talking to a client earlier today, and one of the things that he was saying was, you know, well, I'm doing these service calls. I'm doing service calls with my clients, and, you know, I'm getting on the phone and I'm having a chat with them, and, you know, they're actually saying, look, you know, nothing right now, but hey, you know, hopefully we'll all be in a much better place in the middle of, by the time we get to May, and then we should be recruiting again. And it was off the back of the call that I had with him, and he said to me, do you know what you've just pinpointed for me, Katy, that I hadn't even realized until we had this conversation that I'm doing, which is that I'm having a conversation with my client. I think it's a good conversation, but we're almost feeding each other with this kind of, we're going to be okay, everything's safe. And I'm not actually, you know, I'm not actually really probing in my client and serving my client, because we're having this chat and then we get off the phone and we both feel okay, but actually we're sitting here in our office then going, shit, you know, what is actually going to happen? But it's almost like we feed off each other because we want that confidence that everything is going to be okay. But the fact of the reality is, unless you take your client to a place where they really understand what is going on for them, then and what those pinch points are, and what could happen if they do not make some changes, and in some instances, if they don't start recruitment, then you know, you're not serving them. You have to help them to get to that point. And having a nice chat with your client and adding a bit of service and telling them that you're there when they need you is not enough, because you're not really serving them for what they actually need. And, you know, I've been saying to our clients, I call it the production line. We've got a domino effect, which is things have stopped at the moment. There's no flow in production because every business affects the other business. So your business is affected by your clients are affected by their clients, and that goes on and on and on. And unless somebody gets into that line and actually starts asking the right questions to get people to understand the severity of the situation, or to open it up so that a client can understand there could be actions that they could take that would start to get movement in their production line, then, you know, you're going to stay clogged. So this is something that, again, it goes back to, if you like, the way in which you're doing it. This is what can happen. And when you have those conversations with the client, that's what really supports them. So yeah, it's important to have these nice, pleasant, supportive chats, but it's also important to help your client gain clarity. And to gain clarity, you've got to take them to the real pain point that they're in, not just let them sit on the surface where they think everything is okay, when clearly it's not, because there are businesses that are on the edge of staying, of being a business and surviving. That's, you know, that's the fact.
Yeah, and a lot of this is linked around mindset. You know, like I'm just looking through my notes here, because if I look at one of the things that's certainly different for us, like Katy and me, we I don't know, 4 weeks ago, like we could very easily have just said, right, you know, we're going to sit this out, take some time with our families. We've been working really, really hard, and we did that. We probably slept on it for about a day, and then realized actually it was our responsibility to really make a difference, and, you know, for us to step into a leadership perspective with our clients. Like, we were not serving anyone, certainly not serving ourselves, by retreating back. And we've pushed our clients to places that have not, you know, people been really uncomfortable, and we've asked people to do things they really didn't feel comfortable doing. But we knew if we hadn't have given them that kick, then they wouldn't be like thanking us today, like, thank you for, you know, I've just generated, like, Rachel's just got a call with her saying, like, I'm working now with my dream client and I've got 4 interviews happening next week. I would never have imagined I'd have this in a million years. Now, did we have to push her to get her to start having those top level strategic conversations? Absolutely. With a bit of fun, and sometimes, you know, with a bit of kicking, but it is about mindset. And, you know, there are opportunities out there, and it's just about you. Like, so rather than saying, like, everybody's furloughed, I can't get hold of everyone, you need to start changing your mindset, going, how can I do that? I need to be part of this person. I've got something that could really make a difference to them. How am I going to do that? So, you know, and this is the other thing, our clients really, not everybody, but I'd say the vast majority, you know, they're not allowing themselves to get caught in this spiral of negativity for very long. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, because, you know, we all have to keep an eye on certain things happening in the world, but it's knowing, just don't get stuck in that place. You know, so Katy and I, and every single day, will make sure that before we even start work, we do something that basically aligns our emotions. So I meditate, Katy does yoga, but you can do it in so many different forms, whether it's exercise, you know, reading something inspiring, getting outside. Actually, is really probably one of the best things you can do, getting outside in nature, going for a walk. And it's almost like it's one of the most important things that needs to be happening every single day in your life, you know. And just be careful about, like, drinking during the week, you know, what you're feeding yourselves, because this all changes how you feel about it. And, like, if you're feeling bad, or you've got negative emotions, that affects the way your thoughts, and your thoughts then affect the way that you behave, and the way you behave then affects your results. Whereas if you can switch, and by the way, you can just change your emotions very quickly by moving your body, by taking it and moving it around. Where you change you reframe, you change your thought process, it changes the way that you feel, which then changes the results, the action that you take, which then changes the results that you get. And so the fitter, the healthier, the more focused you are on doing those important things every day, the better results that you're going to get. And know that you are going to get knocked off course. And this is one of the reasons why we've had to create a new service offering, and we call it momentum because we're getting people to take action. But one of the most important things is that you are course correcting, that you're taking consistent actions on a daily basis with a very, very simple plan, because there's so much stuff that you could be doing at the minute, but it's actually, what are the absolute business critical things I need to be doing to guarantee that not only my business survives, but we have a really thriving business in 2, 3, 6 months time. So our clients are you know, they're tracking certain activities that, you know, they are being accountable. We're getting them to submit their accountability, that they're having to be really visual. And if they're not, then we're jumping in and saying, well, what's happening? You know, we're not letting them get away with it, because we know it's okay to do that maybe for a day or two. But if you're not doing actions consistently for a week, then you've got trouble on your team. So, you know, there's some it's a very simple strategy that we're talking about, but the most amazing doors are being opened to people that are doing it. And there's something that happens when you start creating momentum and you start taking action. I don't know whether it's energy or whether it's, it will be energy, but opportunities start opening for you when you're in a positive place that don't when you're in a negative place.
Yeah.
Stuff that you can't see coming, like really good stuff that you can't see coming. Like Alan, who has been following, so Alan went through a big, he's a fantastic guy. He doesn't know how to do things, but he just follows the process and takes action. And I'd say he's probably one of our top performers, certainly over the last 2 weeks. He's just unearthed another interim opportunity and a candidate. He's just made a placement. And it's simply by stepping outside his comfort zone and just taking the action consistently. He's like, I don't know what's going to happen off the back of it, Nicky, but he said, I've pulled jobs that I would never have believed I would have pulled in a million years by just taking this action. And that's because he's just taking the action. So that is really important, that you have that process in place. So in terms of your game plan at the moment, you want to keep it really, really simple. So the first step is you want to get clear on what your numbers are. So you want to get clear on, in the next 30 days, what amount of cash you want to generate. And then you need to work out the number of conversations and the number of reach outs that you need to do to create that. Then the second part of this game plan is you want to be generating conversations with the right people. And you do this by reaching out to your existing network and your existing network beyond that. And then you want to be doing that by reaching out to groups and communities where you know your guys are hanging out. And then you want to be adding stuff that makes you visual and valuable in front of those avatar clients. And then we want you to be taking those conversations into one-to-one offer, one-to-one conversation. And then the next step is, once you have those conversations, it's the way that that new way that you're going to be approaching clients from a consultative perspective, and having those conversations and offering what you have to offer. And then the sixth step in the game plan is the accountability. So every day, every week, carving out time, being really structured, because some of this activity, by the way, is not particularly glamorous. It's potentially a bit boring, but there's these tiny activities that when you do them, like for example, 5 comments in LinkedIn or on Facebook in groups where your avatars hang out a day, add that up, that's 25 comments a week, 100 comments a month. But that starts to create momentum and people start to notice. Now there's another process off the back of that you need to then do to pull those then into conversations. But it's, and then each of these conversations will add up to a placement. If you're consistently having at least one conversation a day with the right person in the right way, I promise you will unearth opportunities. You will unearth jobs. And even I know there's people on this call whose markets have totally died. So for example, I saw it earlier on, oil and gas, USA, totally collapsed. It's totally collapsed, but people still need to drive cars. you know, they still need to fuel things. And so there will be opportunities even within your existing client. If you look at the cash reserves the oil and gas industry have, it's much as they will have money that will be spent and need, you know, be spent in areas that they need to. You just need to figure out what the need is. So my point is there that even within markets that have totally collapsed, there are opportunities. And it might sometimes be like with one of our clients, an opportunity came up in, they're based in the UK, but an opportunity came up in Dubai. Exactly the same client base, candidate base, but just a geographical shift. Katy does HR, based in Scotland. She's now talking to people all over the UK and Europe. It doesn't matter. It's exactly the same people, exactly the same process, but a geographical shift. So, you know, she said, I would never, and she said, thank goodness for this situation, because people don't need to be working from offices. It's opened up this whole world for me that I didn't even realize existed. So that is, excuse me, let me just get my notes. So that is the game plan. Now, if you would like help with this game plan, if you would like to know how to reach out and properly organically grow your audiences, how to have these proper consultative discussions, these chats, get clear on really what your offer is, and make sure you've got somebody who's holding your hand and making sure you're being accountable. And when you do hit these roadblocks, and I can guarantee you will do, certainly when you start having these conversations, helping you to course correct, then we've got something called Momentum, and it's a 30-day program, and it's probably one of the best things that we've done. It's very, very high value add. So in terms of the price bits, it's just it's £997. So I don't know what that is in dollars. I haven't worked that out. It'd be just over $1,000. But we know that if you follow the process and you take the actions that we are teaching you, you will uncover opportunities and you'll make placements. And we've got people who will be making placements within week 3, from starting totally from scratch within our private clients. We've been testing it with them for is it 4 weeks now?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah. We've got people who've made placements in the last 10 days, and we've got other people who are starting to make placements. If you do want help, then all we need you to do is go to centeredexcellence.co.uk/apply and book in a call with us. And what we're offering as a bonus for the first, we've got 7 spaces. We've got 7 spaces left on this, because it's going live on the 1st of May. For those 7 people who raise their hands, we're going to give you that first step, which is your plan for free. And if we feel it's appropriate to invite you onto Momentum, we will do. If it's not, we won't. But for the first 7 people who apply for that, centeredexcellence.co.uk/apply, we will give you that plan for free. So yeah, so that is what we can do if you want help. Now I'm going to open up quickly to Q&As. So we've answered a couple of them. I'm just going to go back to right, here we go. Right, so Dean was saying head office and contract decision makers and not being in the office or being furloughed. How would you reach out to those key decision makers, Katy?
So people who've been furloughed?
Yeah, or are not in the office.
Yeah, so I would, even though they've been furloughed, most people are still keeping an eye on things. So I would say, have you firstly connected with them on LinkedIn, or if not, have you looked them up on Facebook? And have you got their mobile? So have a look on your CRM and have a look what contact levels you have for that individual, because most people, if they're at the right level in the organization, are either, you know, not furloughed or they're still active. I know some people are a bit naughty, they're furloughing their team, but their team are working. So that's what I would say, is it's about finding the right way around that and getting in front of them. So look at what those avenues could be. Where would they be hanging out right now? How could you get in contact with them? Probably from more of a personal situation than a business, but try both. But, you know, most people, or a lot of people, are on Twitter, or they're on social media sites that you can get hold of them with.
Yeah, and I also think about the 6 degrees of separation. So one of the things which is really important is you get very clear on who your target client is before you start press the go on this, because otherwise you'd be scattergunning. You want to be thinking, who are the target clients I want to be into, and you almost like market mapping them, and then looking at your existing connections, your database. Even there will be people in there who know people who are able to give you that information. So
yeah, definitely
about that.
Yeah, check out your own connections. Yeah, who are your first degree, who are your second degree, because somewhere along the line you'll have an inroad to them.
Yeah. So Jackie, you've got Jackie saying struggling to get hold of decision makers, no callbacks, and the fear of irritating DMs who aren't ready to have the conversation. Now that is what we've seen, and what we definitely know is it is a bit of a limiting belief, Jackie, that I'm irritating them, and I think this all comes back to what is, like, how you're having that call with them. Having a call that's really valuable for them, they promise you will not be irritating them. So it is making sure that when you're reaching out to them, you're going to be talking and asking them questions in a way that actually is valuable to them. So yeah, and I think that maybe,
yeah, how do you know that to be true, if you like? What evidence do you have that is the case? Is that what you would expect to feel, or is that really what they feel?
Nathan said a lot of our business driving recruitment has gone because our clients have shut up shop. Most deliveries being made to hotels, restaurants and bars. So it's interesting, because one of our clients who does high volume industrial in the UK, and most of their stuff they were doing was drivers. They've had one of their busiest months ever, but they've repurposed their candidates into different areas. So they've got drivers doing other things, basically. And Claire is like, her mindset is exceptionally opportunity driven, put it that way. She's very positive, and she's just managed to open up opportunities and just moved those drivers into different roles
overnight.
Yeah, that they furloughed all their staff right at the get there, and Claire's like, actually, like, there's only a core staff of 3 now. She's like, I'm gonna have to bring people back in because we're so busy. So again, when we're talking about adapting and pivoting, you might be doing some business that maybe previously before you were saying no to, but that will open up opportunities.
Yeah, and Rob, they're not actually supermarket clients that they've opened up those opportunities with. They're not.
Some of them are. I mean, they've got one contract.
They have got some, yeah, but actually that's where the main crux of it has come from.
Okay, let's look at some of the other. So, yeah, response to that. Yeah, I totally agree about potentially offering in-house recruitment service for our clients. That's, in terms of RPO, definitely. That's definitely something. So any other burning questions that people have got from what we've talked about? All right, well, if not, I think the key is JFDI. So just take action, just keep going, get out there, but there is a savvy way to do it, and there's a much quicker way to getting results if you want it. So if you do here, and we wish,
just drop us a note. Have a call with us.
All right, guys, have a good one, and we will. We've also run
just to say that people can find us in the Facebook, the Recruitment Business Accelerator group.
So what I'll do, I'll send you an invite to that, because we've got loads of top tips, and get access to Katy and me in that group as well.
Yeah,
so it's an invite only, so I will send that through. All right, guys, really loved.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.